Gretel and Hansel, starring Sophia and directed by Oz Perkins, is a film that's classified as a fantasy, horror, thriller. However, it fails in all three of those things. It's one of the least frightening horror films I think I've ever seen. In terms of suspense, I never felt any. It really doesn't succeed in where it tries to. And the fantasy aspect of it is really vaguely used, and it's really just to kind of push the plot forward or give plot conveniences throughout the film. But outside of that, I wouldn't really rave about this being a fantasy film. This really is just one of the worst films I've ever seen in the theaters, not including the local film festival short films. The acting wasn't bad, but at multiple times throughout the film, the dialogue was really hard to understand, whether it was because of a line delivery or a heavy accent that the actors are trying to do. It just, at times, you couldn't really hear what they were saying. The story was really confusing, leaving you with about 10 times as more questions than answers. The story is just really sloppy. It's confusing. There's a lot of moments where you're like, okay, well, what the heck just happened? Because it doesn't really give you any answers, and it's really kind of frustrating as you're watching the film, and especially by the end when you still don't get any answers. You're just left with more questions. It's just a really unsatisfying film to watch. I get it's an attempt at doing a creative retelling of the Hansel and Gretel story, but it's really trying too hard to be edgy and new that it forgets to just tell us a clear, understandable, enjoyable story. Even horror films, the successful ones, tell us a clear, understandable, enjoyable story. The only really good thing I can say about the film is it was really cinematic looking. The cinematography was pretty well done, and the CGI looked pretty good. But outside of that, it's just a really just bad film. I really did not like this film. I highly recommend all of you that are watching this to not go see this film. It's not worth your time, and if you paid for tickets, it's not worth your money. This film to me is a 3 out of 10. Anyways, let me know what you think of the film if you do end up going to see it, or if you were unfortunate to have already seen it. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on it. I know I will never want to see this film ever again. And please don't forget to hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated.